So you made a move and maybe you sent the email, maybe you made the phone call, maybe you even sent the text message or connected with the person that you needed to connect with. And then something amazing happened. Nothing. No rush, no breakthrough, no moment where you thought, yeah, this worked. And if you're honest, a part of you said, yeah, this is where I usually stop. If that sounds familiar, just hang with me for a few. So today I want to talk about a shift that most men never make, and a shift that if you follow through on, you'll find that you are further down the road towards your goals and further down the road towards reaching you becoming the man that you want to become. Last week, we talked about the one move that all of us need to make, that one thing that we've been avoiding. This week, we're talking about the next move. Most men, what they expect is to receive some big energy moment when they make that first move, expect that there's going to be some change. And as we said last week, the first move is not about everything changing in your life. The first move is about just starting momentum. The first move, it doesn't even really create much change at all. It just creates space. That's space so that you can make the next move. And while you may be facing space without clarity and space without understanding, the space that's created from the first move is exactly what you need in this moment. That awkwardness and that discomfort, that's the place where most men quit. What really keeps most men stuck is the fact that they stop too soon once momentum has begun. So what we're taught is to focus on the outcomes, focus on the gains, focus on the successes, focus on the big aha that comes, focus on that emotional charge that we get when we make that first move. But outcomes are really unpredictable. And so we've got to look for something else that's going to help us to achieve the next move in our lives. And so what I want to talk about is falling in love with the process. And so what this means is that we're showing up again and again, day in, day out, in a consistent way that allows us to have predictable, repeatable moves that we can make. Again, this is not about getting some outcome up front. This is about repeating the process that got us momentum in the first place. And here's the thing, process is the only thing that you can actually control. You don't control what happens as a result of the process, but you can control whether or not you show up again tomorrow. When we shift from asking ourselves and looking for, is this working? And then we shift to the thought process of, did I show up again? Then we'll find that we are moving forward, because really we find that momentum comes when we show up multiple times in a row. We generally think that movement should have some great feel to it, or it has some big pie in the sky outcome where the fireworks go off and everybody gives us a high five. But real momentum and real gains happen really in the quiet, repetitive, boring moments where no one is paying attention and absolutely no one is giving you a high five. You remember when you started working out or when you started studying so that you could maybe finish a degree or something like that. I know when I was finishing my doctorate, it was the quiet hours at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning where no one was celebrating me. No one was up. No one was patting me on the back for doing my work. And yet, because I did the work in the quiet hours, I found that I was able to graduate on time in 4 years. I'm suggesting that instead of looking for progress, you just fall in love with doing the simple steps over and over and over again. So let's talk about a framework and a few steps that we can make before we get out of here. And if you choose to do it, you'll find that you will be so different than other people that you'll wonder, why is it that everyone else is not making this move? And here's the move. Do what you already did and do it again. Now, that was it, and it sounds like that's very stupid and very small, and it doesn't make sense. But here's the deal. Repetition is what's going to get you down the road. And so just do what you did. Again, don't make a bigger move. Don't make a more exciting move. Just repeat the small move over. And so as you end this video and you're going about your business, think about the small move that you made that got you started and got you back here for this video looking for the next move. And hear me clearly when I tell you, the next move you need to make is the move that you already made. You just need to do it again and again and again. So, what I'm really saying is that you need to continue to make small moves so that you can go forward. If you sent the email, then follow up on the email. If you applied for the job, then reach out to the manager and let them know that you're still interested in the job. If you started the process of having a conversation with that loved one that needed to be had, then don't just have the one conversation and then let it go. Go back and follow up and continue the conversation, continue the communication. If you were supposed to start this fitness thing and you took the one step and you bought the tennis shoes, okay, great. Now you have the tennis shoes. Now put them on and go outside and start the walk. You did 15 minutes yesterday, do 15 minutes tomorrow. If you do 15 minutes tomorrow, do 15 minutes the next day. Build the habit, the process in to your life so that you can continue to move forward. It's a series of small steps that will move you forward. It's not the start, stop, start, stop, start, stop that most people do that makes success. It's the over and over, boring, in the quiet hours of the day when no one's watching, repetitive next small step that we make that gets us to our goal. Here's how you really have to think about it. If any of you have ever done any long-term investing, you know that the experts tell you that long-term investing is not thrilling in any way, shape, or form. But what it is that you put the same amount of money in the same place every single month for a number of years. And as you do that, your initial investment continues to grow. But what happens is over time, there's this effect called the compounding effect. And that compounding effect kicks in those last few years before you get up out of your investment. And so you put $100 in every single week, and then you put $100 in every single week, and then you put another $100 in every single week. Over time, because you've been consistent with your investment, that $100, whether the market was up or whether the market was down, you just bought the investment every single week consistently. 10 years down the line, you find that your nest egg has grown. But no one had a party in month 6. No one threw a party in year 3. No one gave you a high five and said, way to go, in year 5. What happened was you consistently did the same thing over and over again. And because effort compounds and results compound, because you continue to do that small step, at the end, you found that things grew. It's the same thing when you're working out. You do the small thing over and over again. I worked out yesterday. I have to work out today. I need to work out tomorrow. It's the same thing with the relationship. I talked to you yesterday. I'm talking to you today. I'm getting to know you and talking to you tomorrow. It's the same thing on your job. You show up, you do the job today, you show up, do the job tomorrow, you show up and do the job every single day. Over time, all those small steps done daily, done weekly, or done monthly, they start to build a deposit in your life. And that deposit compounds over time. And then the result, the big payoff comes somewhere down the end. Now, here's where most men quit. Most men quit early in the game before the impact can happen. And so they miss out. On the big ta-da later on down the line because they were looking for the big pow, bang, boom right now. And that's not how things work. Men who are making the right moves, men who are making life moves, understand that this is a long game. It's a marathon. This is not a sprint. So please understand that your personal growth works the same way as an investment works. You have to invest over time in your own growth, and you have to consistently put in the time and put in the effort. In the boring, tedious, monotonous times of your life, you just have to keep on going. And you have to be so serious about your own personal growth that you don't care about whether or not anyone notices. What you're doing is investing for yourself. And so that investment, you trust that you're putting it in a good place yourself, and you believe that the outcome is going to be great. So you keep making those investments every single day. You make an investment in your personal growth. You make an investment in your physical health. You make an investment in your relationships. You make an investment in your spiritual growth. All of those small incremental moves add up over time. The real work is in committing yourself to the small steps. It's committing yourself to the process. And as you commit to the process, progress will come over time. Don't confuse slow progress with no progress. A slow progress is still progress. So keep making the small move. And so I really want you to understand that consistency is not something you gain after you figure it all out. Consistency is you figuring it all out. It's you continuing to move despite not knowing the outcome, despite not always knowing what the next result will be. Consistency is moving despite not knowing. Some of us who are spiritual and believers, we call it faith. And so faith is moving without knowing the outcome. And that's really what making moves and what growing as an individual is all about. It is me moving despite not knowing what's going to happen. But I trust in the process, and I trust that by making the right moves in my life and by following consistently through on the commitments that I make to myself, to my family, to my future, that I ultimately will gain the outcomes that I've planned for my life. And so I think what I can say to you with all sincerity and with all honesty is that if you want progress, you must fall in love with the process. And so we are learning the disciplines of being a man in motion, a man who's making life moves, dependable to yourself and dependable to your process. This is what most people get wrong. They think that consistency means perfection, and consistency is not perfection. Consistency is showing up. Consistency means return. It's not restarting, it's returning every single day to do what you did before so that you can get the results that you want at some point down the line. You're that man who's actually going to end up with the results that you're looking for. But it doesn't happen overnight. No, this is something that I have to do every single day, whether I like it, whether I don't, whether it's sunny or whether it's rainy, whether my wife is giving me a high five or whether she doesn't even notice that I'm doing it. This is what I'm doing for myself. So let's go ahead and recap this really simply, and then we're getting you up out of here. You made the move. Now make the move again. Make the next part of the move. Again, we're moving. And if you want to be that man who's made the life move, then you have to be consistent even when it's boring. Hey, I hope that this was helpful for you. If you heard something that made a difference in your life or something that you can use, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Again, my name is Ken. This is Life Moves. As I say every single time, I love you. So keep on showing up and making those life moves. But remember, you're not starting over. You're just starting from here. Hey, this has been Ken. You have a great day. I'll see you next time.